going on, YouTube? It's your boy DCoates. Thanks for tuning into the channel. This one's going to be, hopefully I can make it quick. This is going to be about the gap between who you are right now and who you want to be. Now I'm going to touch on a few things. Number one, it's like that gap is what causes most of the anxiety and stress in your life. Because generally, most people, you have food, shelter, clothing. So in terms of immediate danger, there is none. So a lot of it's made up in your fucking head. And a lot of it comes from the gap of who you are right now, or who you believe yourself to be are right now, and who you want to be and viewed as in the future and feel like in the future. Now I'm going to touch on a few things. The social media era. So watching a bunch of YouTube, Facebook, all these fucking videos, you see all these people that are either showing the more glamorous parts of their lives or have actually, in for respect to them, achieved a great deal of success. So you're watching them, and this is increasing your gap because now you're seeing them as like a target, and you're seeing where you are and how you want to be like that. And it could be in any area of life, whether it's career, social, dating, physical, health, whatever you're looking at. So that gap will cause anxiety. So the first point I want to say is that don't believe in the hype. One, how I was saying, some people are just showing you the glamorous parts of their lives, especially in the Facebook type of thing, where it's not really real. There's a lot of studies that have been done that people have lower self-esteem the more they scroll on Facebook because of this like fear of missing out and fear of not living a life up to the standard of what they're seeing. So it's this comparison, this kind of constant comparison that's causing a lot of anxiety and lower self-esteem. Number two, you have to understand, especially for the ones who actually you should credit with reaching these higher pinnacles of success, a lot of them put in a lot of work prior to this that wasn't documented, that was pre-YouTube era, or was just in something that they didn't document it, and now they're coming out. Now they put this 9-10 years in that when you're seeing them now, you're seeing the successful side, but you're not seeing the time when they were filling in their gap. So that's the second piece, that don't be so hard on yourself in the sense of they have it, so I'm fucking up because I don't have it. And when you kind of lead this anxious life, it bottles you up with all of these fucking emotions that are hard to deal with and that fuck with you. And then the third part is, it's going to be kind of a three-part. And this is something I'm kind of adapting from Grant Cardone. I'm kind of shortening his levels of action. He has 4 levels. I think it's retreat, do nothing, normal, and massive. I'm just going to kind of say escapism, which is kind of like do nothing and retreat. Normal, and then I guess massive, just going all in. So most people, to deal with it, myself included, and this normal can kind of be a mix of the massive and escapism. You go through escapism, whether it's alcohol, weed, porn, jerking off, fucking talking on a phone too much, looking on Facebook, watching excessive amounts of YouTube videos. Like, you need to gather more knowledge to fill that gap and do what you already know. Most of the time it's action. So that's the first way people usually like to handle these things. And those just are bad in the end because it's temporary. So if you're somebody that likes to overeat or something to kind of fill that gap and that void that you're feeling, eventually you eat so much you can't eat anymore. And then now you have to deal with the fact, and now you're all full, and now you feel like shit because you're getting fat. Or same with smoking weed. You know, and I'll be honest, I'll kind of put myself right in that boat. That is a big escapism kind of movement I do. It's like, after you smoke weed for a couple years and you smoked at a certain level, like, there's only so high you can get. Like, you can't get higher. And then it even impacts you less the more you do it. So same with drinking, same with all of them, watching TV. When you're numbing yourself to these things, at the end, you're still going to have to face it, and more anxiety will build up because you know deep down, whether nobody tells you, that you've taken a destructive action to deal with a problem in your life. So instead of closing the gap like this, you're opening the gap. And then deep down, you know that, so that causes more anxiety. This gap is anxiety. And I guess to do nothing is important too, because if you do nothing, the gap widens too, because it's just longer and longer that you've known that you should be moving towards this. And it's not like the bar stays here. Like, if in 2 years you wanted to get here, the gap is moving too. It's not like your goals stay stagnant. So if you didn't do shit for 2 years, where you should be, move forward 2 years too. So keep that in mind. But then I'll get to normal. Now, normal, I think that can happen in two ways. I didn't really hear anything from Grant kind of going into this. So this is kind of my whole spiel. That one, you could be just steadily moving at a slow rate towards closing the gap. Now, this will cause the least amount of initial anxiety in terms of taking action and fear. But closing the gap will take a long time. And it really doesn't cure the problem, because you're moving so slow that you're never going to really fully close the gap. You're always going to feel like shit's just out of reach because you're not putting your full potential out there. Or the other way that I think is more common, that you'll move like this and then you'll do something destructive. And that happens to me all the time. I'll be good for 3 days. I'll be good for a week. I'll fucking be blasting out in all areas of my life. Then all of a sudden, it doesn't even matter, honestly. It could be a good thing, a bad thing. Something just knocks me off of my whole fucking rhythm, and then I just do a bunch of destructive things in fucking rapid succession. Like, I have a serious addictive personality. Like, I can either be all in on something good or all in on something bad. It's not like I don't really have a middle ground with that shit. So that's something in terms of me, just being honest. And then you can do massive action to close the gap. Now, to me, that's really the only way of taking it out, because you know where you want to be, and for some reason you know that you can achieve that. And if you don't put all your effort to achieve that, you're always going to feel like you're selling yourself short. You're always going to feel that anxiety. You're always going to feel that gap between who you are now and who you want to be. And it's almost akin to, if you're imagining you're trying to talk, and literally every sentence, and it's something very important, every sentence you say that you want to have impact, you can't get it to your tongue, because there's so many gaps in this world. And that's the gap between your mind to tongue. I used to rap a lot, and you hear a lot of rappers talk about this. And that's something for them that they work on, that to be a good rapper, what you're thinking and the way you're meshing it. Anybody who's done something musical, even written or rapped or freestyle, especially if you freestyle, because the way you're thinking of the words and the rhythm is so, you can't put it into words. So getting it out to words, that is like the mark of a genius. But what is genius? A lot of geniuses really just worked hard on their craft, really worked hard on closing that gap. It's the same thing if you're drawing. It's like mind to pencil or mind to paintbrush. And it's like anything you do, there's always that gap. And that's what causes the anxiety and that fear to start. But I guess my whole message here is the only way to really get rid of it is to move in towards it. Move towards the anxiety, move towards the fear, take the action, and then take that in addictive, obsessive, rapid succession. And that's the only way you're going to close the gap, and that's the only way you're going to rid yourself of that anxiety. And I'm sure that it's going to come up in other fields, in other areas of your life, but you're going to build core confidence as to the fact that you know how to handle your emotions in a way that's gonna surpass the test of longevity of time, because all that escapism, and that's kind of what you're taught in this country. I mean, a lot of times you have back pain, they tell you pop a pill, when really maybe you should be working out, maybe you should be stretching, maybe sitting down is fucking you up. You know what I mean? You can't focus in school, or you talk in class, they don't sit up here and tell you, you need an extra hour of PE during the day. They say take some fucking Adderall, take some fucking Ritalin, take some fucking Concerta. Same thing if you're obese and you're getting like cancers of eating, they're going to put you on high blood pressure, cholesterol medicine, even though it's not like they write the prescription like, dude, you can't come back to the gym. Like, your insurance is going to pay you for a gym membership with the personal trainer to work out and get you a nutrition plan, which probably in the end would be cheaper cost than all these all these surgeries and liposuction. Like, they don't really prescribe you the holistic cure, the cure that's going to last longest. And this video is not really in the spirit of getting into the reasons that I believe that happens, but it's just saying culturally we're kind of taught the quick fix, the immediate gratification, and the easy way out. And I'm just saying that if that's the way you adopt, I don't know what your gap is. I don't know who you want to be at the end, but I know you feel it. I know you feel the void. Everybody does. I know there's people that probably look about like, yeah, what does he got to complain about? Especially people I probably grew up with, because it's like, but when you look at it, everybody's got that gap, and you got to fill that gap and remove that anxiety. And the only way to do it is to move towards it, fuck the fear, and in massive, rapid succession, go towards it to close that gap. And that's the only answer that I really think is a long-standing answer. I don't have it completely figured out, but the times that I have done that for short periods of time before I get into my destructive behaviors, that is when I feel the best. So that is really it for today. Kind of went on a little bit long. If you like the content, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps more than you think. Leave some comments below. Maybe tell me about your gap. And until next time, it's your boy Devin Coates. Peace.